someone who attends spiritual and holistic fairs, but also people who run them, then this message is for you. Excuse my attire. I just felt like I really needed to say this, and I feel it's very important. So give me 2 minutes of your time. What happened is there has been a huge explosion in the last 6 months, especially, of people who are opening spiritual markets and vendors and, providing spiritual fairs and markets and stuff. So basically what happened is about 3 years ago, I opened Glasgow Spiritual and Holistic Fair at the Royal Concert Hall. It's the only one that I do, so for now. But anyway, so basically the way that it looks is there's been a surge of people that offer these, and the problem is that the market is becoming incredibly diluted. And so what we're noticing is, and it's not just for my fair, but across the board, numbers are getting lower. So you're getting numbers of stall people who are actually taking up stalls, because what's happening is people are going along, especially if there's something new, they're going to the new one because they're going to try it out, because because maybe there's like 5 on the same day, but so then they're having to choose which one, and sometimes they'll think, oh, we'll go to the new one because the new one maybe might bring something different and might bring new footfall, because I've been going to this other one and the footfall is lower. The lowest footfall we've ever had is 450 on the day. Our main surge of footfalls from 10 until about 3 o'clock. The last hour is a little bit quieter, but the readers and treatment providers are still fully booked until the end of the day, so that's why we always stay until 4. But what is the problem is that's going forward is that because there's so many markets and spiritual places that are opened, that it's diluting the market massively. So if you're someone who runs one of these, please put your dates up in advance. Let people see when, my dates for this year had been put up at the end of last year. I had made sure that all my vendors knew that coming into 2025, they knew the 4 dates for the full year, because I only do mine quarterly. But what you're finding is people are doing them either weekly or monthly in the same space. And what's happening is there's maybe 3 to 4 to sometimes 5 on in the one day in the main central Glasgow area. And so they're not getting the footfall. Numbers are dire. The treatment readers are losing money because they're not selling things on a stall. They're waiting for people to come in. They're maybe a little bit more expensive than somebody buying, a piece of sage for £8, where they're maybe paying £35 for a reason. So then these people are losing out. So anyway, I'm just concerned. I'm concerned that this is going to be the way of it, as more people who see, these markets are busy-ish or were busy and think, oh, I can do that. And they open it up. And then what happens is the numbers are then getting less and less. And what then is going to happen is someone like me that, it's £4,000 for me to put that day on. For me to put that on, then it's then going to be that it doesn't make any sort of sense. So, and no one's going to come into my space and take over, because nobody wants to spend £4,000 on running a day like that. So I'm super transparent with things like that. I think it's really important that we all know how much it actually takes to run one of these days before I even earn £6 on the door, which is how I then make my money from the tickets. But you have to think about, people investing into the thing, and it's not just hiring a hall and putting up some tables and running something that then hopefully is going to bring people in. Normally, as I say, when something new, the people come in the door and there's a bit of a buzz, but all of a sudden they dwindle out, and that's what's happening. And people that have been up there long standing are finding the numbers getting less, so then vendors are not coming to take stalls. The footfall isn't coming because the vendors aren't there for it to happen. And then what's happening is they're already starting to close. And so the general public are losing out because people are becoming greedy and seeing other people doing what they're doing, rather than them doing their homework and actually seeing when other people are on and making sure that there's not anyone, on in the same area. It's different, like me being in the city centre and someone being on, in the south side. Like, there's very unlikely that people are going to be in the south side are going to come to the city centre, and vice versa. But it's also about just making sure that you're not doing something in almost the same neighbourhood as someone else. It's just not fair for the vendors or the public. So if you're someone who does run these types of things, please keep that in mind. Please keep it in mind. I want to know what your thoughts are. So if you want to leave responses, there'll be a box here or here for you to do so.